And our lead story this morning, the Punjab police's chase for the Khalistani leader Amritpal Singh continues for the fourth day while he is still on the run. But the latest information we're getting in this case is that another aide of Amritpal Singh, who was earlier arrested in Punjab, is now being brought to Dibrugarh in Assam. Remember, 4 other aides of Amritpal Singh had been lodged in the Dibrugarh jail earlier, and they had been charged under the National Security Act. And now another aide of Amritpal Singh has been brought to Dibrugarh in Assam, and he's going to be lodged in the jail there. And another important update to look for in this case is that the habeas corpus petition is going to come up in the Punjab and Haryana High Court that seeks that Amritpal Singh be produced in court.
Right. There is another aide of Amritpal that's been brought to Dibrugarh. A team of Punjab police reached Dibrugarh Central Jail with pro-Khalistani leader Harjit Singh, that is the uncle of Amritpal. The team escorted by Assam police reached by road at the Dibrugarh, this is the Central Jail, at about 7 o'clock this morning from Guwahati. We have Ratnadeep joining us to get us the latest updates. Ratnadeep, what are the fresh developments that you have? Update us with the fresh developments.
Well, this morning, another team of Assam police who escorted the Punjab police, they reached the Dibrugarh Central Jail about an hour back with another very close aide of Amritpal Singh, Harjit Singh, his uncle, who was seen very close to him. In fact, he was with Amritpal Singh at the point of time when Punjab police was chasing Amritpal Singh and then parted ways. That's what earlier Punjab police had also said. Now, this elderly person had actually surrendered to Punjab police along with Amritpal Singh's driver. So now they have been also booked under NSA. That's what we are picking up from our police sources. And Harjit Singh has been now brought in to Dibrugarh Central Jail, where 4 other close aides of Amritpal Singh were brought day before. And what we are picking up from police sources is that another 4 to 5 close aides of Amritpal Singh are likely to be brought into Dibrugarh Central Jail, fortified jail, one of the oldest in the northeast. This jail in past have been used for keep top militant leaders in the heights of Ulfa insurgency in Assam as well as other parts of northeast. And now this jail is being seen as a safe place to keep the close associates of Amritpal Singh who are being flown in from Punjab. Harjit Singh was, according to police sources, what we are picking up, was last night flown into Guwahati, and then there was an overnight drive in which Assam police escorted the Punjab police. A huge convoy that you can see in the visuals that we are playing out actually reached the Dibrugarh Central Jail this morning with Harjit Singh. And what we are picking up from our sources in Assam police is that there are at least 4 to 5 more close associates of Amritpal Singh expected. This includes his driver as well. Initially, the information that we were getting is that his driver would also be shifted to the Dibrugarh Central Jail, although there is no official confirmation in terms of whether he has been shifted. But in all likelihood, including his driver, 4 to 5 more close aides who have been already arrested by Punjab police and booked under NSA will be brought into Dibrugarh Central Jail.
Right, so the crackdown on Amritpal Singh narrows down as his uncle and driver have been taken in. Priyanshi, of course, we are, that big question being, where is Amritpal Singh?
That's right. And in fact, the crackdown on Amritpal Singh has had consequences abroad as well. And there were attacks at the Indian High Commission in the United Kingdom and also at the Indian Consulate in San Francisco. Now, in response to that, the United States has strongly condemned the attack on the Indian Consulate in San Francisco.
Right, so this was by a group of separatist Sikhs that attacked the Indian consulate in San Francisco, and of course the US is calling it absolutely unacceptable. Remember, several Khalistani protesters raised pro-Khalistan slogans, broke open the makeshift security barriers raised by the city police in San Francisco and installed their 2 so-called Khalistani flags inside the premises. Now, 2 consulate personnel soon removed those flags, but after that a group of angry protesters did manage to enter that area and of course started hitting the doors and windows with iron rods. Priyanshi.
That's right. This is among the attacks by Khalistani supporters that have been reported in the United States and the UK as well after the crackdown on the Khalistani leader Amritpal Singh. Those are visuals, of course, you're seeing of the Indian High Commission in London. Let's also just look at how the United States has reacted to this. Jake Sullivan has tweeted that we condemn the acts of violence against the Indian Consulate in San Francisco. We are committed to the safety and security of these facilities and the diplomats who work with them. The State Department is in touch with local law enforcement on the next steps on this matter. Let's also listen in to what the United States said on this.
We certainly condemn that vandalism. It's just absolutely unacceptable. The State Department's diplomatic security service is working with local authorities. I can't speak for the San Francisco police, but I can say that the diplomatic security service is working with local authorities to properly investigate, and obviously the State Department is going to be working from an infrastructure perspective to repair the damage, but it's unacceptable.
In the United Kingdom as well, Khalistani protesters attacked the Indian High Commission in London. They broke the windows, pulled down the Indian flag and waved their own red flag.
Now, India reacted strongly to this and summoned the top diplomat of the United Kingdom. India said that UK's indifference is unacceptable. The ministry also demanded an explanation for the absence of security at the High Commission premises. Listen in to what the Foreign Secretary Vinay Quatra said on this.
With regard to the, UK incident, we have already put out yesterday evening, late evening, India's response to it, in which the UK Deputy High Commissioner was summoned and was, one, demanding an explanation, two, asked the culprits and the perpetrators of what happened at London yesterday to be quickly arrested and prosecuted. We launched a strong protest and also clearly indicated to the British authorities for the need for them to put up adequate security at the UK High Commission.
Right, so those attacks are being condemned by India and the United States as well as the United Kingdom. We'll get you a whole lot more on the other side. For now, we're stepping into a very short break.
And there's a new flashpoint between the Aam Aadmi Party and the central government, and this time over the Delhi budget. Now, in a first, Delhi is likely to miss the date that it's set for the budget, and it was set to come out today, but that's not going to happen because of a new Aam Aadmi Party versus centre face-off. The Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has blamed the centre, calling it hooliganism. Kejriwal claimed that the centre has put the Delhi government's budget on hold a day before it was going to be presented in the assembly, which was today. Now, sources in the Ministry of Home Affairs have confirmed the news, pointing out that the centre has sought clarification on expenditure on advertisements by the Aam Aadmi Party government before they can clear the presentation of the budget. The BJP, meanwhile, says that it's the Aam Aadmi Party that's intentionally holding the budget by not answering the ministry's questions. Let's just take a look at what the Aam Aadmi Party is saying on this. Kailash Gehlot, the Delhi cabinet minister who holds the finance portfolio, says that for the first time in India's history, the Ministry of Home Affairs has stopped the Delhi government from presenting its annual budget. The budget was sent for the Ministry of Home Affairs' approval well in advance on 10th March. However, the file with the MHA's concerns was put up to me only late evening. So while the Aam Aadmi Party blames the centre, the BJP blames the Aam Aadmi Party. Listen in to what the BJP says.
दिल्ली सरकार ने आरोप लगाया है कि होम मिनिस्टर ने अभी तक बजट की फाइल क्लियर नहीं करी है, इसीलिए कल दिल्ली का बजट पेश नहीं होगा। हमारा कहना यह है कि दिल्ली के मुख्यमंत्री हर बार अपनी नाकामियों का ठीकरा दूसरों के सर फोड़ते हैं। एलजी साहब ने और फिर मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ होम अफेयर्स ने कोई ऑब्जेक्शन लगा के आपसे जवाब मांगे थे, लेकिन आप अभी तक जानबूझकर, हमारा आरोप है, जानबूझकर आपने उस फाइलों को रोका ताकि आप ये आरोप लगा सको और ये आरोप प्रत्यारोप का दौर शुरू हो सके। आपसे एक सवाल मांगे गए थे, आपसे क्लैरिफिकेशन मांगी गई थी, आपने उसको क्यों नहीं दिया, ये सवाल आप पे उठता है।
My colleague Sharad now joining us for more details on this. And Sharad, आम आदमी पार्टी बीजेपी पर इल्जाम लगा रही है, बीजेपी आम आदमी पार्टी पर, यही हम अक्सर देखते हैं। पर इस केस में आखिर हुआ क्या है? क्यों दिल्ली का बजट आज पेश नहीं हो पाएगा? क्या जानकारी है आपके पास इस बारे में?
देखिए, हुआ यह है कि पहले जरूर मुख्यमंत्री अरविंद केजरीवाल ने सेंटर पर यह एलिगेशंस लगाए कि उन्होंने दिल्ली का बजट रोका है, लेकिन जब सेंटर की तरफ से और एलजी की तरफ से ये कहा गया कि 17 मार्च को ही उन्होंने कुछ ऑब्जर्वेशन के साथ में दिल्ली का जो बजट है, उसकी जो फाइल है वो दिल्ली सरकार को भेज दी है, तो उसके बाद फिर ये पाया गया कि ये बात सही है कि केंद्रीय गृह मंत्रालय ने, एमएचए ने फाइल तो भेज दी है, लेकिन अब दिल्ली सरकार का ये कहना है कि चीफ सेक्रेटरी ने जो दिल्ली सरकार है उसको अंधेरे में रखा, और जो केंद्रीय एमएचए से फाइल आई थी बजट की, वो जो कंसर्न मिनिस्टर हैं, कैलाश गहलोत फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर हैं, उनको नहीं दिखाया, और कल शाम को 6 बजे ही उनके सामने ये फाइल पुट अप की गई। अब उसके बाद ये दोनों तरफ से बताया गया है कि रात को 9 बजे जो कैलाश गहलोत हैं, फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर हैं, उन्होंने जो बजट की फाइल है, जो ऑब्जर्वेशन लगाए गए थे एमएचए की तरफ से, उस पर जवाब देते हुए फाइल एलजी को भेजी है, और रात के 10 बजे एलजी ने वो फाइल अप्रूव करके सीएम को भेजी है। यानी कि अब सारा जो दारोमदार है वो सीएम के ऊपर है। सीएम ने फाइल एमएचए को भेजनी है, और एमएचए से जब ये अप्रूव होकर आएगी तब जाके जो है दिल्ली का बजट पेश हो पाएगा। लेकिन अभी तक मुख्यमंत्री के यहाँ से जानकारी नहीं है कि ये फाइल भेज दी गई है या अभी भेजनी है, या अगर भेज दी है तो किस समय भेजी है। लेकिन आज बजट दिल्ली का पेश नहीं हो रहा है, ये कंफर्म है। और फिलहाल सारे जो दिल्ली सरकार ने एलिगेशन है, वो दिल्ली के जो चीफ सेक्रेटरी हैं और फाइनेंस सेक्रेटरी हैं, इनका रोल जो है ये पाया गया है कि इनकी वजह से ही ये जो बजट है डिले हुआ, क्योंकि इन्होंने जो फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर हैं उनके सामने बजट की फाइल नहीं रखी।
जी शरद, धन्यवाद हमसे जुड़ने के लिए। एंड एज शरद वाज पॉइंटिंग आउट दैट इट्स कंफर्म्ड दैट द दिल्ली budget is not going to be presented today because of this face-off, and the LG's office is saying that the Aam Aadmi Party government has not responded to clarifications that the Ministry of Home Affairs sought. And now to the other big story. Poll strategist Prashant Kishore has predicted that opposition unity against the BJP in 2024 would never work, as it would be unstable and ideologically disparate.
That's true, Priyanshi. The ace election strategist also questioned the benefits of Rahul Gandhi's Bharat Jodo Yatra. Opposition unity, he said, is a facade and wouldn't be possible just by bringing parties or leaders together. But he has an advice for the opposition in this exclusive interview to NDTV. Listen in.
आपने यहाँ की जो रीजनल लीडरशिप है उसके बारे में आपने बता दिया, बिहार के संदर्भ में उनके बारे में आप जिक्र कर रहे हैं, नेशनल लीडर्स जो हैं उन्होंने क्या किया है उसके बारे में भी आप मंच से बात कर रहे हैं। अब ये नेशनल लीडर्स बिहार वापस आने लगेंगे, 2024 का चुनाव होगा। इसके चलते मैं आपसे ये जानना चाहता हूँ कि एक जो पर्सनैलिटी और कल्ट वॉर राहुल गांधी और नरेंद्र मोदी के बीच में चल रही है,
वो मेरा विषय नहीं है। मेरा विषय नहीं है कि देश में क्या चल रहा है। मैं जब बंगाल,
आपको नहीं लगता लोगों को ये मैटर करता है?
नहीं, मैं आपको बता रहा हूं, नहीं करता जी। मैं बंगाल में चुनाव करा रहा था, तो मेरा विषय बंगाल था। मैं जो काम लेता हूं, मेरा अपना काम करने का तरीका है, सही है गलत है वो आपको आकलन करना है। मैं जो काम लेता हूं मुझे उसको ईमानदारी से, शुद्धता से, अपनी पूरी ताकत से करना है। मैं बिहार आया हूं, ये अभियान मैंने शुरू किया है समाज को जगाने समझाने का। अब केरल में क्या हो रहा है, देश में क्या हो रहा है, मैं इतना बड़ा आदमी हूं नहीं।
और विपक्षी एकता पर आप क्या कहना चाहेंगे?
नहीं, विपक्षी एकता पर मैं इतना ही कहूंगा कि मैंने पहले जो कहा है उसको दोहरा देता हूं कि ये फसाड है। आप दलों को और नेताओं को एक साथ लाकर एकता नहीं बना सकते हैं, उससे आप भाजपा को चुनौती नहीं दे सकते हैं। अगर आपको भाजपा को चुनौती देना है तो पहले आपको समझना है कि भाजपा की ताकत क्या है। भाजपा की ताकत है हिंदुत्व, राष्ट्रवाद और लाभार्थी। ये त्रिस्तरीय उन्होंने एक तरह से किले का निर्माण किया है, जिसमें सबसे बड़ी ताकत उनके लिए हिंदुत्व है, जो विचारधारा है। दूसरा राष्ट्रवाद है और तीसरा लाभार्थी है। जो लोग भी भाजपा से चुनाव लड़ना चाहते हैं, उनको चुनौती देना चाहते हैं, उनको कहीं ना कहीं इस 3 में से 2 चीज को तो बेटर करना पड़ेगा। अब आप दलों को साथ में लाकर करें, खुद का दल बनाकर कर लें, जो भी प्रयास करें, जब तक आप तीनों को भेदिएगा नहीं तब तक आपको चुनावी सफलता मिलने की संभावना मेरी नजर में कम है।
और ये क्या हो रहा है, ये प्रयास
नहीं हो रहा। अगर होता तो जीत ही जाते। अगर आपका ये सवाल है कि क्या इसको किया जा सकता है तो बिल्कुल।
क्योंकि आप बिहार की बात करें ना, मैं बिहार के संदर्भ में पूछूं, 2015 में एक महागठबंधन हुआ और वो बहुत सक्सेसफुल।
तो भैया महागठबंधन सिर्फ दलों का गठबंधन नहीं है, यही तो आप लोग को मतलब महागठबंधन पहली बार शब्द ही मैंने लिखा है। उससे पहले तो हमको इस देश में गठबंधन शब्द था। महागठबंधन शब्द 2015 में पहली बार प्रशांत किशोर ने लिखा। महागठबंधन आपको ये दिख रहा है कि दलों का गठबंधन था। मेरी समझ से वो सिर्फ दलों का गठबंधन नहीं था, वो विचारधाराओं का गठबंधन था। उसमें नेता तय था, उसमें 7 निश्चय का प्रोग्राम था, उसको घर घर पहुंचाया गया था, तब उसको सफलता मिली। 2015 का महागठबंधन बिहार का आपको याद है, लेकिन 2015 के बाद जितने लोगों ने भी वही प्रयास दूसरे जगह करने की कोशिश किए, हर जगह महागठबंधन को हारना पड़ा। इसलिए कि जब तक आप, जो मैंने कहा, ये 3 विचारधारा के आधार पर बीजेपी को चुनौती नहीं देंगे, जब तक उनको राष्ट्रवाद पर नहीं हराएंगे, जब तक उनके लाभार्थियों का जो वेलफेयरिस्ट मॉडल है उसको नहीं चुनौती देंगे, तब तक आप उनको चुनाव नहीं हरा सकते।
And moving on to more news, untimely rain has caused a major damage, and this is crop damage across many states, whether it's in the north or the western part of the country. And the ones that have been worst affected include areas of Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh. A 60-year-old farmer has died because of this unseasonal rain.
Divya, that just highlights how devastating the impact has been of the unseasonal rain on crop damage across the country. Now, farmers are facing big losses after this unseasonal rain. Here's a report showing the damage in Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh and Maharashtra.
Across North and West India, unseasonal rains, hailstorms and strong winds have left fields of grain flattened and fruit ripe and ready for plucking, damaged and destroyed. Farmers were looking forward to the harvest season when selling their crops would bring in a much-needed income. In Rajasthan's Bundi, 60-year-old Prithviraj Bairwa had taken a loan of 7 lakh rupees, hoping to repay it with this year's harvest. When he saw the damage to his crops, he consumed pesticides in his fields and committed suicide.
वो टेंशन हो गई भाई, वो जमीन भी इतनी कर्जा भी है, तो सर खेत में से उठा के लिए।
फिर कहाँ लेकर गए?
फिर तालेरा हॉस्पिटल में लेकर गए।
और गेहूँ कितने बीघा में थे?
3.5 बीघा।
तो पूरे ही खराब हो गए कल की बारिश से।
In Madhya Pradesh, 20 districts affected with hail that left roads and fields white like a blanket of snow. But the results, disastrous. 65-year-old Harprasad Lodhi of Paharia in Silvani had sown 5 acres of gram. When he saw his fields flattened by the hail, he died of shock. Just before the harvest season, the rains have either destroyed crops standing or soaked bales of harvest which will now simply rot.
ये सारी खराब होगी। अब इको पर कर्जो ले रखे जो भारतीय स्टेट बैंक कर्जो ले रखे जो केसीसी गोल्ड लोन काई ये सब ले रखे हैं। अभी कर्जा ने भी कहाँ से चुकाओ छे और ये कर्जा ने कहाँ से देंगा के लाखों रुपया तो केसीसी को कर्जो छे।
In Maharashtra, the fruit bowl of India, mangoes, grapes and oranges damaged before they could be picked. Chief ministers are now getting down to assess the damage so compensation can be decided. But the impact of climate change, evident in freak weather patterns like these, are a warning on how it can impact food security and agricultural incomes. With Anurag Dwari in Bhopal and Sohit Mishra in Mumbai, in Jaipur, Harsha Kumari Singh, NDTV.
And with that, we'll be slipping into a very short break. Lots more coming up on the other side.
Welcome back. The other big story, fugitive businessman Mehul Choksi, who's wanted in a 13,000 crore rupee scam in the Punjab National Bank, has now been removed from the Interpol database of red notices. Now, what does this mean? This essentially means that he can now freely fly across the world with no restrictions. Now, the Interpol had issued the red notice against Mehul Choksi in 2018, nearly 10 months after he fled from India to take refuge in Antigua and Barbuda, where he had taken citizenship later. Now, from India, the CBI has reached out to the Interpol to review this decision. My colleague Neeta now joining us for more details on this. And Neeta, it is a setback for the Central Bureau of Investigation, and they've also reached out to the Interpol for this.
See, it's an embarrassment for government also, Priyanshi, and a setback for both Central Bureau of Investigation and Enforcement Directorate, because both were pursuing Mehul Choksi's case in different platforms. Although both the agencies says that his extradition removal of his name from the Interpol list would not have any bearing on the extradition case which is going on. But, we have to remember that this comes at a time when FATF, the global body, is going to review the functioning and how the law operates in India regarding money laundering. And as far as Mehul Choksi is concerned, both ED and CBI had the case that how he had laundered money from India abroad. So it's a huge setback for both the agencies and also the government. Although the CBI says that they would be moving, but as of now, Mehul Choksi is a free man now, as we were mentioning, that he can travel wherever. When we spoke to his lawyer, Mr. Vijay Agarwal, indeed, he said that it is ultimately the truth has prevailed. In 2018, the RCN was initiated against his name, but now Mr. Choksi is a free man. Priyanshi?
Right, Neeta. Thanks very much for joining us with those details. So, as Neeta mentioned, this is a huge setback and an embarrassment for the central investigation agencies that were pursuing cases against Mehul Choksi. And breaking news, we're getting in the Delhi government versus the centre face-off on the Delhi budget. Now the Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has written a letter to Prime Minister Narendra Modi saying and asking him to not stop the Delhi budget. Now what's this entire controversy? In a first, Delhi is going to miss the date that it's set for the budget. The date was today, but the budget is not going to be presented because of a new face-off between the Aam Aadmi Party government and the centre. Now the Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal says that the Home Ministry is holding Delhi's budget, and that's why he's now written a letter to the Prime Minister as well. My colleague Nukul now joining us for more details on this. And Nukul, tell us what this letter by Arvind Kejriwal says and what's the response from the Home Ministry on this till now?
Well, absolutely, Priyanshi. This letter has been written by Delhi Chief Minister a day after he announced that no budget will be presented in the Assembly this time around. While this is, you absolutely mentioned, that is in a first in the history that the budget has not been presented in the Assembly. While in the letter, Arvind Kejriwal went on mentioning that for the first time in the country in 75 years of history, the budget of the state was stopped. And he went on asking, in fact, as you rightly mentioning, that why are you angry with Delhiites? So these are the lines on which the letter has been written to the Prime Minister. This comes, remember, a day after that Arvind Kejriwal, Chief Minister of Delhi, had yesterday announced that there will be no budget presented in the state. While let me also just give you the sense of what this entire case is, that there was a statement from the Lieutenant Governor's office which said that Mr. Saxena, who had approved the annual financial statement with certain observations on March 9th, in fact, and sent the file to the Chief Minister. Now, the BJP also made some allegations that these files were kept by the Chief Minister's office, and why there was no action that was prompt on these particular the observations made by the Lieutenant Governor. While you were asking what is the response from the MHA, now as far as the response from the MHA, there is no response that is yet to come in this particular matter. But what we know is for sure that a letter has been written by Arvind Kejriwal, and which comes the day after he has announced that no budget will be presented in the Assembly this time around. While at the same time, we also learned that, given to understand that in the survey, what we were learned that there were some the key mentioning in the budget this time in the assembly were the main focus, in fact, were education and health, the new portfolios that were given to the new ministers who are added in the cabinet of Arvind Kejriwal. So the fact remains that there is no budget being presented this time, which is absolutely a matter of concern for the people of Delhi. Last night, Arvind Kejriwal also mentioned that the people of Delhi are suffering, but the question remains the same, that why the budget is not being presented, and if the people are suffering, then who is going to present the budget?
Right, Nukul, thanks very much for joining us with those details. Of course, it's the people that suffer if these political battles between parties actually impact something as crucial as the budget for a state. Now, the cabinet minister in the Delhi government, Kailash Gehlot, who holds the finance portfolio, he has tweeted that for the first time in India's history, the MHA has stopped the Delhi government from presenting its annual budget. The budget was sent for MHA's approval well in advance on 10th March. However, the file with MHA's concerns was put up to me only late evening, while sources in the centre say that they had sought some clarifications from the Delhi government over their expenses on advertisements, and they say that those answers have still not been received, and that's why the file has not been cleared. And the LG's office say that the file is pending at the CM's office, and he has not sent these answers back. A big question facing the world today is whether former US President Donald Trump will be arrested today. Now this, as he had earlier tweeted that he will be arrested over the case of hush money paid to a porn actress. Now he in fact also called his supporters to protest if at all he ends up getting arrested, similar to the calls that he made that led to the 2021 US Jan 6 Capitol Hill attack. Now the New York police have tightened security ahead of a possible historic indictment of Donald Trump. Now, interestingly, if this ends up happening, Donald Trump would become the first former or sitting president to be charged with a crime if an indictment is filed. And it will, of course, hurt his plans of running for office in the 2024 elections. While Trump has asked his supporters to protest and he's made that call, the response has been considerably muted. But some protesters, some supporters of Donald Trump did gather in small groups. A small group of protesters actually gathered in a park across the street from the court where New York prosecutors are wrapping up their probe into whether the former US President Donald Trump was engaged in an illegal hush money scheme involving a porn actress. Now, the supporters say that it was meant as a peaceful protest against what could be an indictment against Donald Trump.
I think it's going to be the pivotal, defining moment of our generation. I mean, a mugshot of the president coming out. I mean, this has never happened before. This is unprecedented. I mean, it would be an iconic photo, to be sure, and I definitely think it's going to send some uneasiness among many people, not just Republicans, but Democrats, centrists.
We're here to claim our streets back. We need a DA who's going to focus on doing the job and not weaponizing his office to pursue political persecutions that are neither wanted nor warranted.
Now, new evacuation orders were in place in several places in California where a levee was breached following recent downpours, as yet another winter storm brought the threat of major flooding in California. Now, the agricultural communities in these areas, which are home to a total of about 1,400 people, were ordered evacuated because of the possibility of residents becoming isolated due to possible roadways. That's what the officials have said in a statement. Now, a flash flood watch was issued for parts of the valley in the area as well. Now, BJP leader Sambit Patra is currently speaking. Let's just listen in.
स्वाभाविक रूप से आपको लगेगा मानो भारतीय जनता पार्टी हर दिन राहुल गांधी को माफी मांगने क्यों बोल रही है। विषय गंभीर है। अगर विदेश की भूमि में जाकर राहुल गांधी बार बार विदेशी ताकतों से यह निवेदन करेंगे कि आप हिंदुस्तान आइए और हिंदुस्तान की डेमोक्रेसी की रक्षा के लिए आप हिंदुस्तान के इंटरनल मैटर्स में प्रवेश करिए, उसमें घुसपैठ करिए। अगर यूके से और यूएस से राहुल गांधी लंदन में बैठकर इस प्रकार का डिमांड करेंगे तो स्वाभाविक रूप से देश इसे एक बहुत ही सहज भाव से ग्रहण नहीं करेगा। और एक पॉलिटिकल पार्टी होने के नाते, विश्व की सबसे बड़ी पॉलिटिकल पार्टी जो लोकतांत्रिक तरीके से जनता के आशीर्वाद के माध्यम से चुनी गई हो, यह भारतीय जनता पार्टी का कर्तव्य है कि सड़क में भी और सदन में भी इस विषय को उठाए। हमारा स्पष्ट मानना है कि यह विषय नहीं है, यह षड्यंत्र है। दिस इज जस्ट नॉट अ रैंडम इश्यू, दिस इज अ कॉन्स्पिरेसी, अ कंसिस्टेंट कॉन्स्पिरेसी बाय द कांग्रेस पार्टी एंड द गांधी फैमिली। क्योंकि यह पहली बार इस प्रकार से जाके लंदन में कह रहे हो हिंदुस्तान की डेमोक्रेसी के खिलाफ, ऐसा नहीं है। और ऐसा भी नहीं है कि राहुल गांधी बिना माफी मांगे निकल जाएंगे। माफी तो उन्हें मांगना ही पड़ेगा, हम मंगवा के ही रहेंगे। मैं आपको याद दिलाऊं, इसी प्रकार से राहुल गांधी एरोगेंटली कह रहे थे 2019 में कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट में हम माफी नहीं मांगेंगे राफेल के केस में। कान पकड़ करके मौखिक रूप से माफी मांगनी पड़ी। आई एम सॉरी, आई रिग्रेट। ये राहुल गांधी जी को हिंदुस्तान के सर्वोच्च न्यायालय सुप्रीम कोर्ट में कहना पड़ा और सुप्रीम कोर्ट के तत्कालीन सीजेआई उससे सेटिस्फाई नहीं हुए और उन्होंने कहा नहीं, केवल मौखिक रूप से कहने से कि आई रिग्रेट यह उचित नहीं होगा, आपको एक एफिडेविट सबमिट करके क्षमा याचना करनी होगी। और देश की राजनीति में राहुल गांधी वो नेता बने जिन्होंने लिखित रूप से एफिडेविट सबमिट करके सुप्रीम कोर्ट में कान पकड़ते हुए माफी मांगा कि मैंने झूठ बोला था, मैंने जनता के बीच में फरेब फैलाने की कोशिश की थी। जो राहुल गांधी जी ने लंदन में किया है, बिल्कुल वही किया है। 2019 में सुप्रीम कोर्ट में माफी मांगना पड़ा था और आज पार्लियामेंट में, सदन के पटल पे, संसद में माफी मांगना पड़ेगा। आप सोच सकते हैं यह विषय कितना गंभीर है। लंदन में जाना और लंदन में कहना विश्व के एक बहुत बड़े भूखंड में जहां पहले डेमोक्रेसी होती थी, ऑल ऑफ अ सडन दिस डेमोक्रेसी हैज सीज्ड टू एग्जिस्ट। यह डेमोक्रेसी अब एग्जिस्ट नहीं करती है। और इसलिए जो विश्व की शक्तियां हैं, जो डेमोक्रेसी की पहरेदार हैं, तथा कथित डेमोक्रेसी के पहरेदार हैं, the so-called protectors of democracy, Europe and United States of America, why are they oblivious? ये शांत क्यों है, ये चुप क्यों है? Why don't they protect the democracy in India? मतलब this is an open invitation. ये एक खुला निमंत्रण है कि आप आइए और भारतवर्ष के आंतरिक लोकतंत्र में आप आके घुसपैठ करिए और आप हमें नेता बनाइए। What is the difference between a मनीशंकर अय्यर and राहुल गांधी? ये मनीशंकर अय्यर और राहुल गांधी में क्या डिफरेंस है? मनीशंकर अय्यर पाकिस्तान जाते हैं और पाकिस्तान में आह्वान करते हैं कि हमें मोदी को हटाना होगा, हमें इस सरकार को गिराना होगा, आइए पाकिस्तान और हम कांग्रेस पार्टी मिलकर काम करेंगे। सलमान खुर्शीद बतौर विदेश मंत्री चाइना में जाके चाइना में जिस प्रकार से प्रस्तुतिकरण करते हैं, चाइना की वंदना करते हैं और भारत को कम आंक के आते हैं, वह भी हमने देखा है। और आज राहुल गांधी लंदन में जाकर न्योता देकर आते हैं विदेशी ताकतों को कि आप आकर हमें बचाइए और राहुल गांधी को आगे बढ़ाइए। दिस इज नथिंग शॉर्ट ऑफ व्हाट मीर जाफर डिड। मीर जाफर ने जो किया था नवाब बनने के लिए, आप सबको पता होगा। मीर जाफर नवाब बनना चाहता था और नवाब बनने के लिए उसने ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी की मदद ली थी। ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी हिंदुस्तान में प्रवेश करके मीर जाफर के साथ खड़ी हुई और उसके बाद जो हुआ वो और आप और हम सब जानते हैं, अंग्रेजों का शासन। इट वुड नॉट बी एन एबरेशन टू से दैट राहुल गांधी इज द प्रेजेंट डे मीर जाफर ऑफ इंडियन पॉलिटी। जो उन्होंने लंदन में किया है वो ठीक वही किया है। शहजादा नवाब बनना चाहता है और शहजादे ने ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी की मदद मांगी है नवाब बनने के लिए कि तुम मुझे नवाब बनाओ, मैं तुम्हें 24 परगना भेंट करूंगा, मैं तुम्हें हिंदुस्तान का एक टुकड़ा भेंट करूंगा। मीर जाफर ने बंगाल में 24 परगना उसने भेंट किया था ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी को, और उसी 24 परगना के माध्यम से ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी और अंग्रेजी हुकूमत हिंदुस्तान में प्रवेश करती है। हिस्ट्री रिपीट्स इटसेल्फ। द प्रेजेंट डे मीर जाफर ऑफ इंडियन पॉलिटी राहुल गांधी हैज टू अपोलोजाइज। मीर जाफर को माफी मांगनी ही पड़ेगी, इसका कोई दूसरा और विकल्प नहीं है। राहुल गांधी यहां तक गिर सकते हैं कि वो लंदन की भूमि में बैठ करके भारत के इन्वेस्टिगेटिव एजेंसीज को डीप स्टेट करार दे सकते हैं कि दीज आर द डीप स्टेट्स जस्ट एज पाकिस्तान हैज ISI।
And we're getting breaking news. There's action initiated over the Prime Minister's security breach that happened in January last year. Now, the Punjab Chief Minister has recommended action over the Prime Minister's security breach. The Chief Minister has recommended action against the then Punjab top cops and other Prime Ministers and others as well in this case of Prime Minister's security breach that took place in January 2022. Remember, the Prime Minister's vehicle was stopped on a highway for a few minutes after there were certain people, certain protesters on the same highway a little far away from the Prime Minister's vehicle. And after that security breach, close to more than a year of that security breach, the Punjab Chief Minister has recommended action over the Prime Minister's security breach. Remember, there was a huge political battle over this as well, with the BJP blaming the Aam Aadmi Party government, with the BJP blaming the then Congress government in Punjab for the Prime Minister's security breach. My colleague Ghazali now joining us for more details on this. And Ghazali, take us through the details of this action that has been recommended by the Punjab Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann.
See, the Chief Minister has ordered the initiation of disciplinary proceedings for this major penalty against former DGP S. Chattopadhyay and two other police officers over the security breach or the Prime Minister's visit which happened to the state in January last year. And apart from ex-DGP who has since retired, the disciplinary proceedings for this major penalty will be initiated against Inderbir Singh, the then DIG of Firozpur range, Harmandeep Singh Hans, the SSP of Firozpur, the then SSP. And official sources are saying that these officers who are serving will be asked to submit their responses. The ones who have been retired, even they will be given a chance to submit their responses. And the senior officers who are still in the service may be demoted as well. This is what the sources within the Punjab's Home Department are telling us. Now, why this has happened? Because after the Supreme Court appointed committee had submitted its report last year in August, after that the Home Department, the Union Home Ministry, had been seeking responses from the Punjab government that what action has been taken against these erring officers whose names were mentioned in that report. After that, this letter, which is dated of 20th of March, that is yesterday, this the Home Secretary wrote this to the concerned department. The Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann has decided to initiate action against these people, and a charge sheet will be issued to them, wherein all the officers who have been mentioned in this report will be asked to submit their reply as to why a disciplinary action should not be taken against them.
Ghazali, thanks very much for joining us with those details. So the Chief Minister has recommended action against the then Punjab top cop and others in this case of the Prime Minister's security breach. With that, time for a very short break. We'll be back with more. Stay tuned. Now let's get you the top international stories. The White House reacted to Chinese President Xi Jinping's visit to Moscow to meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin on the war with Ukraine and warned that any attempt by either country to call for a ceasefire that doesn't include the withdrawal of Russian forces from Ukraine will not be accepted by the world. Listen in.
Is there another way to look at President Xi's visit other than a show of support for President Putin?
For President Putin, he sees in President Xi lifeline of sorts for a war that he's conducting that has clearly not gone anywhere near the direction he wanted it to go, and a military that is clearly failing on the battlefield. So it's a bit of a marriage of convenience, I'd say, less than it is of affection. And again, we'll see where this goes after this meeting. But these are not two countries that have, decades-long experience working together and full trust and confidence. It's a burgeoning of late based on America's increasing leadership around the world and trying to check that.
And groups of angry demonstrators are protesting on the streets of Paris after the parliament adopted a divisive pension bill, and lawmakers in the lower chamber rejected 2 no-confidence votes against the government. Now, several hundred people walked through central Paris as bins and plastic bags were set on fire, as you can see in those visuals, while some even called for the resignation of French President Emmanuel Macron. Now, what's this bill? Macron's divisive plan to raise France's retirement age from 62 to 64 has caused regular nationwide protests over recent weeks. The bill, in fact, pushed through by Macron without lawmakers' approval, still faces a review by the Constitutional Council before it can be signed into a law. The Council has the power to reject articles within the bills, but it usually approves them.